It's time to actually produce your online course. Now, if you haven't watched the other videos in my series of creating a course with me, then be sure to check out my playlist up here so you don't miss any important steps that lead up to this point. Now, before you actually hit that record button, it is important to do some pre-production activities first, because that will help you get through the production stages faster and also help you produce a great looking video-based course. So in this video, we are going to be looking at 5 key areas that will help you to be fully prepared when it comes time to record. Now, if you've been watching this video series so far, then you know that at this point we have finished our beta course. And now it's time to think about the pre-production of the actual course itself. Now, the first thing you want to think about is how you are actually going to teach it. Now, you probably have a pretty good idea of this already, especially given how you may have taught it in the beta course. But you want to think, first of all, if you are going to be teaching it using video or just slides or a mix of both. There are times when it might actually be appropriate just to use slides, in which case a lot of what I'm going to be sharing in the next couple of videos may not be appropriate. But slide-based videos, slide-based courses can be good for those who need to update their courses very regularly, and to do that via video would just be too consuming, and it probably wouldn't get done as regularly as it needs to be, in which case slides might be the better option. This can be for things like software where the algorithms change very quickly and all that kind of thing. But I'm assuming that for most of you watching this, it's not going to be the case, and that you might want to use video, because that helps build the know, like, and trust factor. And you may want to do a mix of the slides and video, or maybe entirely video, especially if you are teaching something which you need to demonstrate, such as music or art or cooking or any of the trades, any of those kind of things where actually seeing and watching you do it is going to be really important. So you want to think, first of all, are you going to be just slides, a mix, or video? And the other thing you want to think about is whether you're going to do it as more of a formal style or more of an informal style. And this again depends on your audience and your target audience. If you have done a beta course already, then you probably have a pretty good idea of how to relate to your audience, in which case just go with that. If you haven't done a beta launch or a beta course, then you are probably guessing a little bit more. But hopefully you've been building your audience and you have a good idea of what kind of person they are. If they are very much from the professional space, then you might want to be a bit more formal. If they're more in the creative space and trade space and things like that, then I would suggest more of an informal route. The second thing you want to consider is what equipment that you need to produce your video lessons. So I'm going to assume that you are going to be doing entirely video, and that you're going to be demonstrating something such as in the creative space, whether it's music, art, or craft, or cooking, or in the trade space or something like that. And depending on what type of video topic that you have, then it's going to depend on what equipment that you need. But some basics are the camera, lighting, and audio, and you can check out this video here for some ideas of what you could get in regard to that. And I will also leave a link in the description below which will take you to my kit, and that is either products that I use myself or that I would recommend depending on the type of video that you need to produce. Number 3 is to make sure that you have an outline. So if you have done the beta course, then you probably have a pretty good outline at this point, because you've actually taken it through the process and you can now just refine it based on the feedback that you got from your beta launch. If you haven't done a beta launch or you want to, then you can check out this video here, which will take you through the process of how to do a beta launch. If you haven't done it or you're not planning on doing it, then this is the point at which you really need to refine what your outline is going to look like, because you're going to use this to work through your actual video production. Number 4 is to create a script or an outline of your video lessons. Now, in step 3, we looked at the outline or structure of the entire course. Here we're talking about the actual video lessons themselves. Now, for some people, you might feel that writing a script is more comfortable, because then you're not going to be rambling a lot and you've got that structure. My only caution would be that you don't read from it, in the sense that it doesn't sound like you're reading. So if you're going to be using a teleprompter, or if you are going to be having it next to you and you're going to refer it, don't feel like it has to be perfect, especially if you're referring to it, because you can then take so many takes trying to get it exactly word perfect, and it really doesn't need to be. You can use it more as a detailed outline if you're going to be referring to it, and if it's going to be on a teleprompter, then just make sure you go through it a few times and make sure it's written in such a way as it's natural when you read it. So just be very careful that you're still maintaining that connection with your student if you're going to use that method. The other way is to use a detailed outline. So you've got those bulleted points of the main things that you want to convey in your lesson. This can be a really good way to keep on track so that you're not going off on lots of tangents, but at the same time not making you feel like you have to have it word perfect. And you can go from that. The other thing, whether you're using a script or an outline, is to make sure that you're also considering your B-roll, which is all the things that you are going to record which will be like demonstrating your topic. So for example, right now this is A-roll. This is the main thing that you see on screen, which is me talking to you. But if I were demonstrating a painting technique, for example, then as I'm talking about whatever technique it is, I might want to switch over and actually show a demonstration of that technique as I'm talking about it. Now, when I go over to that image, then that is B-roll, and you want to make sure that you get all of the B-roll that you need for that lesson at the time that you're recording, because the last thing you want to do is sit down to edit everything and then realize, oh, I didn't get the B-roll, I didn't get the image that I want to be able to put in here to demonstrate what it is I'm talking about. So make sure that as you create your outline or your script, that you are thinking about all the images that you want to get at the same time. And number 5 is to make sure that you don't create super long lessons, because people just don't have the attention span. So make sure that your lessons are quite short, maybe 7 to 12 minutes is a good range. Anything too much more than that and people are starting to lose attention. So you want to basically communicate one major point in each video, and then they can move forward to the next one. It's much easier and more encouraging to feel like they're getting through your course when they are getting through smaller videos and feeling like they've got something complete, rather than thinking they've got a half-an-hour video they've got to wade through, or an hour-long video that they've got to wade through, and they've got to find time for that in their day. It's much easier to find time to slot in a 6-minute or a 10-minute lesson to learn something quick than it is to fit in those bigger time blocks. And also it means that they can find that material much quicker when they come back to wanting to remind themselves on something that you have taught them. It's much easier to go back to a smaller video and find that thing that you said or that thing that you showed them than it is to go into a half-an-hour or an hour-long video and try and find that same thing. So just bear in mind, keeping shorter videos, shorter lessons is a really key point in helping your student to really enjoy the actual process. Okay, so that's it for the pre-production process, and let me know in the comment section below which part of this process that you find most challenging. And if you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications on more videos that are related to creating an online course using video. Stay creative, and we will talk soon.